Welcome to Walking His Way podcast, where we'll examine the instructions that Jesus told us to teach each other if we should choose to walk His way. My name is Don Fanning. It's incredible how we love to blame others for things that happen in our life, and it's often that we love to even blame God. As a matter of fact, every insurance policy probably that's ever been written has a clause in it, especially for catastrophes and things that just go south. We call it an act of God. And so we blame him for just about everything. The problem with blaming, particularly God, is that it opens ourselves up to all kinds of temptations. It has some serious consequences, and they're not all good. Beginning to blame him instead of ourselves, or even looking at serious problems within ourselves. And when we blame him, we distrust him. And when we begin to distrust him, we discredit him. And when we distrust him, it's too easy to defame him and call him all kinds of things. And then we begin to blaspheme him, as it happens often. And then we rebel against anything that he's ever said or we think he says. And then pretty soon we lose all purpose in life. And then pleasure begins to take over as our prime source of motivation in life. And pleasure then becomes the cause of all of our problems in the spiral downward. And the answer to it all is we have to learn to trust him. Beware of blaming God. James said in chapter 1, verse 13, "Let no one say that when he is tempted, I'm tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he himself tempt anyone." Catastrophes and what we think are temptations don't come from God. The human tendency is to blame God for everything, especially misfortune and calamity, as we said, and thus avoiding any human responsibility. Proverbs put it this way: when a man's folly brings his way to ruin, his heart rages against the Lord. 19:3. And then in James 13, James had just declared, "Blessed is the man who endures temptation, for when he has been approved, he'll receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to those who love him." James chapter 1, verse 12. The present tense verb for "I am being tempted" may have two meanings. One positive, that is, to try to discover the nature or character of something by testing it, and one negative, to entice. That's the definition in Bauer-Danker lexicon. The context generally makes the choice for us, as in our text today. James is dealing with our personal response to our inherent evil. If the believer yields to the temptation of immediate gratification, doubting God's wisdom and instructions, then he reaps the inevitable negative consequences of sin and possibly death, according to James 1, verse 15. The correct response to temptation leads us to spiritual maturity, wisdom, and blessings in life. That's healthy living. Blaming circumstances or others for our incorrect decisions or moral failures is only self-deceiving and unhelpful and unhealthy. A poor man's poverty cannot turn him into a thief and thus justify his stealing. The cause of his own greed is the problem. An alcoholic might blame his business pressures or family problems for his drinking, and he might continue towards any number of catastrophes, just looking for a way out, almost to spite things, none of which were God's doings. The command here means everyone should stop saying or telling yourself and blaming God to justify your own disobedience. Wrong thoughts breed wrong behavior. And you can choose to believe that, quote, "no trial has overtaken you that is not faced by others, and that God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted or tried beyond what you are able to bear, but will with the trial will also provide a way out so that you may be able to endure it." 1 Corinthians 10, verse 13. As the wind strengthens the trees as they move, So trials give endurance to those who really desire to follow Christ. Are you willing to look and trust God for his purpose? Pray like this. Lord, it's so easy to blame you for the bad things that happen in my life and take credit for the good things that happen as though I really did it. When will I learn to repeat to myself the truth that you have nothing to do with evil that happens in my life? I trust you, Lord, for grace in all circumstances. Help me, Lord, to be healthy, wise, prudent, and always trusting you. Well, thank you for listening today to our podcast on walking his way. And I trust that you have gleaned an insight into the wisdom that we need to have really victory in life and to live in peace and have joy and purpose in this one life that we have. May you learn to walk with Jesus. Keep following this broadcast, and we'll keep talking about ideas that might help you to be victorious in this life as we learn together to walk his way.